All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 154-pound division, where Showtime Boxing let some information out last night that goes contrary to what rumors have been stated surrounding Errol Spence Jr. and specifically the Errol Spence Jr. Terence Crawford rematch and Errol Spence's future with the network. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 154-pound division, where last night there was a telecast from Showtime Boxing. The fight card was coming from Australia. Tszyu fought Brian Mendoza for the WBO 154-pound title, but in the show, things were mentioned and things were done and shown by Showtime that foreshadow what is going to take place with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford most likely. So going to update you on that just in case you missed it. But before I get into that, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you're a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you so much for your continued support. Makes a huge difference to the channel. And thank you guys so much. But let's get into this because it's important stuff. Now it appears all of this stuff that was going on at 147 pounds will be shifting to 154 pounds if the signals shot out there by Showtime Boxing are any indication of it. And what do I mean by that? I mean that we're now going to have major fights at 154, two of them being a fight between the winner of the fight that took place last night, which was Tszyu, who beat Brian Mendoza and actually beat up Brian Mendoza, man. Really good fight from Tszyu. Tszyu is a fighter that is definitely growing on me. Confident young man, the son of Tszyu, who was a world-class fighter. I believe Tszyu may be in the Hall of Fame. One of the best 140-pound fighters of the last 25 years or so. Terrific fighter. Beat Zab Judah. If you don't know who Tszyu is, just know that he's the dude that gave Zab Judah the chicken legs, made him do the chicken dance that time. But he wound up ultimately losing the last fight of his career against Ricky Hatton. Ricky Hatton then went on to get demolished by Floyd Mayweather. However, his son Tszyu, just like his father, Tszyu, excellent fighter. And in the telecast, though, they gave out some information about the Errol Spence Jr. Terence Crawford fight. And Raleigh, I'm gonna kill his name, man. I'm so bad with names. The host for it, the guy that was Raleigh. I think his first name is Raleigh. Forgive me, man. I always kill his name, but it was he. Brian Custer, Al Bernstein, and Abner Mares that were all up there. And then they mentioned that the fight between Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford will most likely take place at 154 pounds. So saying that does two things. One, it lets you know that Showtime is looking to air that fight. It's not a fight that they are trying to get out of. So all of the rumors about, Showtime not wanting to do that fight, man, please, or that fight, or Errol Spence Jr. jumping camp and going to Amazon Prime is more than likely not true. But the most significant thing there is that the fight would be at 154 pounds. And I'm telling you, man, I do think that that's where that is going to be. And not just because Errol Spence Jr. is going to want that. I have suspicion that Showtime itself wants the fight at 154 pounds. And for multiple reasons. One reason that I believe that is because of how animate Steven Espinoza was about Terence Crawford not being able to just fight, to refuse to fight Errol at 154, but then say he's open to fight everybody else at 154. And so that particular fight, I think Showtime wants to see at 154 pounds. And their reasoning for them wanting to do it would be obvious. They don't want to see Errol Spence Jr. drained so that hopefully they can have a more competitive fight in the second fight, where the word is, and I think it's fairly well accepted, that Errol Spence Jr. was not he was not in a condition where he could have fought to his best. Not saying, and this is just something you got to do all the time because the people will get into the comment section and really can't understand separating issues. One issue is whether or not Errol was all the way himself, and the other issue could be whether or not, even if he was, Terence Crawford would have beat him anyway. Terence Crawford very well may beat him regardless, but that does not answer the question about whether or not Errol Spence was fully there, and whether or not being at 154 at a much more comfortable weight for him, where he's not drained down, sucked down, could allow him to perform better and make it a better product for Showtime and for for boxing fans, right? So that question, I think, is pretty much settled, that it would be better for Errol at 154 than 147, at least in the way that he feels. So I'm sure Showtime does want to do that. The other thing that I find interesting is, now that all of this stuff is going up to 147 pounds, you also have Tszyu, who after he beat Brian Mendoza, went straight to calling out Jermell Charlo. So the idea that he is going to be fighting who the WBO may have ordered him to fight, which is Terence Crawford. Good luck with that. I have a suspicion that Tszyu, and this is because Tszyu said it, would probably drop the belt and to fight Jermell Charlo for 2 belts instead of fighting Terence Crawford for 1 belt. And I believe that would probably be the case for Jermell Charlo as well, especially if he would rather fight Tszyu for 2 belts than fight the Akhmedov, I think is his name, for the IBF, because the Tszyu fight more than likely is going to be the bigger attraction. More people are going to be interested in that fight, especially coming off that win for Tszyu against Brian Mendoza. Now, this is all, hedges on, Jermell Charlo's not saying, hey, I've made my, $10 million, $15 million against Canelo. Now, I'm done with my career, or I'm just going to stay at 160. He may stay at 160 because there's a lot of belts open at 160 for Jermell to fight for. Seeing as Jamal is more than likely going to be moving up to 168. And it seems like you do have a unified champion now in Janabek. But, those other 2 belts are going to be open. And he has a fight he could take with Erislandy Lara for the WBA. But anyway, just my take on the matters. I think we're going to see that fight at 154, and I think it's going to get pushed by Showtime at 154 because it's just a better product for fans. And again, Terence Crawford is not really in a position to pick, I don't think. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.